Shalom all, Stacey the Black Feather Intuitive, and welcome to your new moon musings for the new moon that happened on March 18th. And today it is full moon day, and the full moon during this cycle is actually happening on April 1st, and this phase is going to be lasting from the 1st through to the 4th of April. So let's have a little conversation about this full moon before we get into the card pull. This full moon is actually going to be happening in Libra, the sign of Libra. It is called a pink moon. And this pink moon is going to be happening at 10:13 p.m. Eastern Standard, which is 3:13 a.m. UTC time. Here are a couple of the things that we want to keep in mind about this. It is going to be a time where we get to balance relationships that have been out of balance. So think reciprocity, think those dynamics where you give too much or where maybe you're taking too much and not giving enough. This is a window of time where all of those things are going to be addressed and nobody is going to be exempt. I feel like that's important to say. Nobody is going to be exempt. So you want to lean into it, be fully prepared, fully accepting, and say, yes, this is how I'm going to dive in. Seeking and creating new harmony. New harmony. We'll see what the card has to say. But new harmony feels like, and we got a message about that in one of the previous cycles as well, our phases, I should say, as well, where it is about being drawn to the new because we are reinventing ourselves. So seeking and creating new harmony and releasing tension. And good news for you guys all out there, it's a good time to get your freak on. If that is what you are feeling called to do, releasing tension, releasing endorphins in the body so that you've got a clearer vision and a more, I want to say, a more updated, bubbly sort of vibration. Okay, so let's check it out. Without further ado, let's get to it. Okay, so we are pulling cards from the Creatures Tarot from Sarah Kathleen. And just as a reminder, in our previous phase, we got two cards. We got the Eight of Wands that was coming up and the Strength card. So let's see what our angels and guides have to say for us during this full moon happening on the 1st through to the 4th. Sorry, I don't read reversals, so that was just kind of a weirdness. All right, so we've got the Hierophant. Now, this is really interesting. When we're talking about that balancing relationships, seeking and creating new harmony, releasing tension, the Hierophant is really the guide. And the Hierophant comes in for us when we are in trouble with our limiting beliefs, when we are getting in our own way. And I feel like for this full moon energy, when we're dealing with those kinds of relationships that might be a bit out of balance, you want to look at where your limiting beliefs are creating that imbalance. So, this is going to bring up issues of codependency. If you happen to be in any kind of codependent relationships or dynamics, you're going to be noticing those things. Why do I feel like I can't go to the grocery store unless I go with my partner? Why do I feel like I can't go and do this class unless I have my best friend with me? This goes beyond the, social anxiety or being shy and feeling a little anxious about starting something new. This is that I choose to stop living my life and doing things that I want to do and things that I know will bring me joy unless I can do this with this other person, right? That's always a good indicator that there might be some codependency there. So the Hierophant is inviting you to go within and to look at those areas where perhaps those limiting beliefs need some tweaking, need some readjustment. And you want to go from a limiting belief into a belief that is supportive of who you are and where you're going. A limiting belief also in many ways can be a lie. And I don't mean that it's like a general lie. I mean that it might be your ego lying to you. And when we look at this particular card, it's kind of that dusk energy, and we've got the owl. The owl is wisdom. The owl brings a lot of wisdom and knowledge. But as I like to say, wisdom is a nothing burger unless you are applying it. I also have to point out that this card is various shades of gray, right? We've got the black tree and we've got the black owl, but everything else is this gray and this gray blue. So I feel like the Hierophant is also encouraging you to live in the gray areas. Often when we have a limiting belief that is holding us back, we are in an extreme mode. It's this or else. It's this or I'm going to die. I have to do it this way or I'm going to die. And I don't mean to make light of a situation or to be dramatic. I mean, that is how our ego speaks to us. That is the terminology, especially an ego that is triggered, especially an ego that is activated in a way that is trying to what am I trying to say? Keep you safe and secure, but doing it in a way that I always like to say, it doesn't understand the difference between ripping a Band-Aid off the arm and chopping the whole arm off. So it brings the 5-alarm fire to everything. But ripping a Band-Aid off doesn't really need the 5-alarm fire attention. And that's what I feel is what this particular window is bringing. With the full moon energy, full moon also is about receiving. And when we are talking about balancing relationships and creating new harmony, releasing tension, it's okay for you to open your heart a little bit and to receive, to let go of this idea that you always have to be proving your value and worth. This is a good time to be. Just be. And notice what that brings up for you. Notice how you feel in that being space and energy. Okay, guys, so that is our full moon phase. Once again, that is happening on April 1st. And the energies of this phase are going to be continuing from the 1st to the 4th. And this is, of course, as a result of the new moon that happened on March 18th. Let's see you in a few days for our next phase, which is the disseminating moon. And that's going to be happening on the 5th through to the 8th. In the meantime, really step into those limiting beliefs. Do the hard look, do the deep dive, because I promise you, you're worth it. Until we see you for another episode of Black Feather Couture, Divining a VIP Life, sending you lots of love and support. We will see you on the flip side, and transform well.